Now, I watch AEW every single week. I like wrestling in general, and AEW's pretty good at what they do, except for the women's division. We all know that. However, we need to discuss how good a job they're doing making the pay per view hype for certain matches. Anybody can go on the internet and say, I think this person's going to win and that person's going to win. But I'm not the typical wrestling YouTuber. I like to go deeper. How good is the company doing making you care? Back in the day, per se, I don't know what WrestleMania was, but like the builds to matches were paramount. They were very, very good. They wanted to sucker you in to buy the show. Jake the Snake was tormented by Rick Rude because Rick Rude was stalking his wife. Andre the Giant betrayed Hulk Hogan, tearing up his shirt. HBK threw Marty Jannetty through the glass window. Randy Orton was stalking Triple H's wife, and that made him go ballistic. Handcuffed him while he did things to his wife. That was a really good build, you know. And then like you have horrible ones like Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin, which actually did have history. However, this is not the match that we wanted at WrestleMania to end Kurt Angle's career, but WWE had better ideas. And it went nowhere. Obviously, it went nowhere with it. We the people were right about that one. So, in the grand scheme of things, what do these matches mean? How good a job did they do coming into the show? Are these throwaway matches? So let's find out here when I go into how did they book them. So as most of us know, this match here, Orange Cassidy versus John Silver, was stupidly put on the buy-in show as if nobody cares about that match or those people. It's Orange Cassidy had a main event type spot against Chris Jericho at your former pay-per-view and beat Chris Jericho, and now he's just thrown into a random feud with John Silver, and he was put on the buy-in initially. That's disrespect right there. That's Ricochet levels of disrespect right there. How you go from Brock Lesnar one day, and then the next day, the next show, jobbing to a nobody? Orange Cassidy is obviously going to win this match. That goes without saying. But how did it go so fast from Chris Jericho, one of the GOATs, to John Silver? Yeah, we all know he's cool and everything, but nowhere near Chris Jericho. How do you go that far down? Did Cassidy lose a bunch of matches? Wins and losses, quote unquote, wins and losses matter. So how did this match even come to this? So I'm going to be doing a grade scale on how good a job they did with this particular build. I'm going to go piss poor, down, meh, middle, and good job up. For this one, I give a meh to. Because at least, at the minimum, they gave you a little something at the go-home show. Before this thing, there was barely any interaction between Cassidy and Silver. But at least before they did this thing, Cassidy, for some reason, wanted to attack Cassidy from behind when Cassidy was going after Penelope Cruz. Penelope Cruz is attached to Kip Sabian and Miro. What does the Dark Order have to do with protecting Ford and Kip Sabian? Nothing, right? But at least they tried to have some sort of angle between them beforehand. It's as lazy as what NJPW does with most of their feuds. They have a tag match between the two people that are going to fight the next pay-per-view or whatever, the next event. And at the end of the tag match, they just magically hate each other and stuff. I'm like, okay. You had no build-up beforehand, but you're in a tag match together, and all of a sudden you don't like the way he was pinned or the way he looked at you. Yeah, it's that level of I don't really care, but at least it's something. Now the big fat derp down. I'm gonna call it derp down, not brown down, but derp down is gonna go to the buy-in show. Obviously, not obviously because Silver and Cassidy was on. Oh yeah, by the way, Cassidy and Silver, they're gonna tear it up. There's no question about that one. The women's world championship match: Serena Deeb versus Allysin Kay. Zero build, out of nowhere, for a company that doesn't even work for you. This is a derp down. Out of nowhere. Where did this come from? So then the match is going to be good? I know Allysin Kay's work. I know Serena Deeb's work. It's going to be good. Just good. Not great. It's going to be good. Worth the watch, I guess. But I've not seen anything wow out of any of these girls. I watched Allysin Kay on NWA and Impact. She never really did anything for me except for her attitude. Her moves are like meh. Serena Deeb's work is serviceable. But ironically, the week after Serena Deeb was on UWN, and I was bored to tears with her match against Rosalita, Thunder Rosa. I saw a great match with I forgot these two girls' names, but I know them when I see them. You know, this blonde girl. I think she was in pink, and this other girl. She has a tan and she wears red. But I don't know the name. I don't know the names because they're new to. They're essentially pretty new to me. Like I owned something like twice, but they tore it up. They did some really good impact / good reversals. This one girl, the blonde girl, she went from a pin into like a crippler crossface seamlessly. I was like, damn! It was very good. With this arch moves, using the flexibility, it was a really good match. So, next match. Chris Jericho, this is fucking A+ right here. This has been going on for like, I don't know, 8 months? Off and on 8 months? It's been building to this one. However, Chris Jericho randomly saying to MJF that you gotta beat me out of nowhere. Kinda lazy. Like you did everything except for beat me. Kinda lazy out of nowhere. But the build between these two having a match, super high, super good, super anticipated. I expect the match to be good, not great. Because Jericho's matches and MJF's matches are just good. I don't think they're going to bring anything else out of themselves there. They could have weapons involved, make it interesting, but the smack talking between those two should be gold. We all know that this match has been building for a long ass time, but when it comes to being built up on the current Dynamites, it's pretty bad. Matt and Guevara, they barely had any interaction with each other, really. Of note, before this one, the pay-per-view before this one, it was all over the place. But for this one going in here, kind of light. And the reason why we should care about this deletion match is like, I don't know. Because they're not giving a lot of time to Matt and Guevara on the show. So it's going to be cinematic, I heard. But why do we care currently about this feud? They couldn't even give any real time to it on the thing. I think on BTE they gave a little something, but on the main show, barely in the build. So for this one, I gotta give it a derp down. It was just like, ugh. It was like out of nowhere, per se. Yes, they have a long history, but the lead in to the show, derp down, horrible. FTR versus Young Bucks. I'll give this one a meh, because the reasoning why the Young Bucks had to do the I'll never challenge again thing was horrible. And they're going in injured for a opportunity to never challenge again. I don't know why they had to do that one. Do this real quick. Yeah. The reason why they had to put it on the line was weak. They did it. They had an ego or whatever. They did it for themselves. I don't know why they had to do something that stupid. So that was weird. And they didn't bring any of that stuff up. Either the people there on the shows. The Young Bucks had a match against Private Party, and Matt was favoring his leg the most of the match, and I don't understand what the point is of us caring about this match. Matt's gonna be we the viewers gonna be looking at Matt's leg the entire time, and gonna be wondering if this is gonna be like a Cody situation the entire time. So like, it's just weak. They had continuous build-ups and moments in the shows, but the reasoning why they had to put the thing up, the championship opportunities up there was super weak. So that's why it gets a meh. If it would have just been a regular match for the titles there, I've been like, okay, let's see what you got. See what you got. But for them to like say we get no more opportunities ever, period. Weird, whack, piss poor. We all know why. Derp down. Cody vs. Darby Allin. Barely in the end. This one gets it down. Barely any interaction between these two. Barely in the moments between these two. I'm like, okay, why do we care? Darby's in the stand stalking the arena. Okay, good for him. Alright. And derp down. Horrible build. Horrible build. This one gets a meh. Because the build-up for these two was obviously predictable in the tournament. And since then, they had like moments where they kind of are together, not together, but no real promos against each other to care, or moments to care, like, going up to something personal. They're just there in a ring staring at each other, and it's just like, why do I care? Why does anybody really care? Except for being Omega and Paige, why do we really care? So yeah, we want to see this match, and it has history. Unlike Darby Allin versus Cody Rhodes, it does have history, so that's why it gets a meh, and not like good job. It gets a meh. This is excellent right here. This gets a fucking up. Not only did you have Moxie and Eddie Kingston like send messages like almost every single week, but their final confrontation was just too damn good to be true. I, as a viewer, didn't get why there was a no touch stipulation. It seemed like it came out of nowhere, but it didn't matter in the end because Moxley and Eddie put on a great promo and a great feeling of desperation on both parties to get that belt. So that one gets a awesome up. So there you go. Do you think I'm wrong with the build? Let me know in the comments below. Clack off.